A saddle of venison. Well hung.
A saddle of venison, well hung, Mr. Worthington.
One saddle of venison, well hung.
A jar of red currant jelly.
A jar of red currant jelly, Mr. Twistivant.
A jar of red currant jelly.
Oh, Frankie, not holding up the traffic again. Move on, you fat and greasy citizen.
Mistress Coles, the top of the morning to you.
Hello, Padre. Back from your holes.
Aye, Ireland. There's a bonny wee country, big old.
Oh, Lord, now what country are we in?
Pound and a half of chestnuts.
Pound and a half of chestnuts.
No chestnuts.
No chestnuts, Mum.
Padre, happy to see you back.
No chestnuts.
No chestnuts?
Aye, indeed. Begorra, Mrs. Mapp.
Ireland, was it this time?
Wrong season.
Wrong season, Mum.
Any news this end, as they say?
Oh, very well. Carry on, Drake. Only that Mr. Pilson has disappeared.
Good gracious. Disappeared in what way?
No one has seen hide nor hair of him for a fortnight.
Ill, maybe. Do you think, Aunt?
Would that explain his refusal to answer the telephone?
Then where can he be?
Good morning, Elizabeth. Not bumped into you since your honeymoon.
Too lovely to see you again. My Benji boy and I only got back 2 days ago, and since then it's been upstairs, downstairs, and in Milady's chamber all day till we got things ship-shape and comfy and comme il faut again. But now we're quite settled in, n'est-ce pas?
Certainement.
France, was it not?
Oui. We were just discussing Mr. Pilson and his non-appearance in our midst.
I'm afraid I can throw no light on his whereabouts.
Haven't even you seen him? Fancy, he must be terribly ill.
Men like to be left quite alone when they're not the thing.
Oh, that's not the way of my Benji boy. Why, he had a touch of chill while we were at Monte, and pas un moment did I get to myself until he was better. Wasn't it so, Mischief?
Girlie is a wizard in the sick room. Bucks a man up more than 50 tonics.
I know what's happened. Foljam has murdered him.
Oh, Mistress
And
Coles.
she's burying him in the back garden at this very minute.
It's not very likely, dear.
But it might be so, beloved. Things like that happen. Dr. Crippen and so forth, so why not in Tilly?
Take no notice. Quaint Irene suffers from an over-vivid imagination.
Quite. One only has to look at her paintings to see that.
One of these days you'll see. I'll be hung. Toodaloo.
Like Crippen, no doubt. So triste about poor Mr. Georgie. I invited him to our birthday bridge party next month, and he sent word he was too malade to consider it.
All too mysterious.
Top of the morning, Mr. Spliceton.
Mr. Georgie. Not seen for weeks and weeks.
We know, Diver, dear.
Something infectious, no doubt. Oh, look at those delicious plums. Mr. Twisterman.
I'm all the nonce. Bless you, ladies, Major.
Well, then.
You won't forget my birthday bridge party on the 16th, will you, dear?
So long as it doesn't clash with my calisthenics class.
I hear you absolutely exhaust the poor ladies.
Who told you that?
Haven't they been dropping out one by one?
It is rather strenuous. Au reservoir.
Au revoir.
Mrs. Lucas.
Yes, Foljam. Oh, Mrs. Lucas.
I'm afraid Mr. Pilson is
yes,
already...
of course he is. Is that you, Georgina mio? Lovely to hear your voice again. May I come in?
I must warn you, Lucia. I'm very much changed.
My dear, what do you mean? A beard, is that all? Una barba?
Yes, it's perfectly hideous, I know. I won't be able to shave for a month or more.
Why not?
Shingles, my dear, shingles. I've got shingles on my face and neck. Look, shingles.
Has Dr. Dobby been to see you?
Of course he has.
Oh?
Do you know anything about shingles?
Only if they go right round you, you die.
Oh, thank you very much. But when will I be able to shave again?
Listen, quick as a flash, I have a piccolo plan. No, not a plan. An order.
Oh, anything, Lucia.
You're coming to stay with me at Grebe. You needn't see anybody but me, and then only when you feel inclined.
But Foljam...
She can come with you. Tell her to pack your bags. I'll send Cadman to transport you.
But Cook,
Tell her to take her holiday.
But the house...
No, Georgie, for heaven's sake. Do I have to think of everything? Shut it up. Foljam can come down every so often and give it a good airing.
Oh, will we be able to keep it a secret, Lucia?
I pledge. My domestics will not utter a word.
Oh, Lucia. It is nice to see you again.
Oh, Georgie.
I can't thank you enough.
Don't forget to bring your tatting.
Petit point.
Petit point, of course.
Off to Grebe, then. Now, just until my shingles have disappeared and I'm able to shave again.
Of course. Au reservoir.
Au reservoir.
And how is our poor Malad?
He's not very well, dear.
But well enough to see you, Sherry.
Only for a moment.
I shall pop in after luncheon.
Wiser to telephone first, perhaps. He's very depressed already. Bye.
There's something mysterious going on about Georgie. Poor Lulu's face had that guileless look that always means she's playing hokey-pokey.
Did she say what was wrong with him?
No, but I'm determined to find out.
There's probably trouble with his toupee. Or thimble finger.
Now, darling, Charity. In the meantime, have you finished the crossword?
No, not quite. Not...
Let's see. Number 3 down. A disease often seen on the seashore.
Georgie, I have come to a decision.
Oh, about my beard.
No, not about your beard for once, about myself, for a change.
Sorry.
This is what I'm talking about. The obituary of Dame Catherine Winterglass.
No.
Then you've heard of her.
No?
She was a governess. Dismissed to make way for somebody younger, she received only £500.
Oh, is that all?
Yes. But she invested it.
Wisely?
It says here that at the time of her death, she owned a house in Grosvenor Square and entertained royalty at her estate in Norfolk.
Oh, then wisely.
She also disposed her bounty to any charitable institution that she felt was deserving.
What, you mean to just throw her money away?
It turns out that in spite of what she threw away, or perhaps because of it, she grew richer and richer.
Well, how did she manage to do that?
By being bold. Saying farewell to tedious gilt-edged stocks which are falling and investing in gold shares in West Africa, it says. Siriami, highly recommended. You see, Georgie, money is power.
Yes, to a certain extent,
I
perhaps.
have been letting my money lie idle instead of increasing it by leaps and bounds.
Well, you might decrease it by leaps and bounds. They say that speculation is the shortcut to the workhouse.
Dame Catherine Winterglass, it says, claimed that any intelligent woman, me, Caro,
Indubitably.
can make money every day of her life.
Yes, very much so. This green shepherdess. Oh, Tarson. Now, I must give her a hat or rip her clothes off and make her pink.
Georgino, the clock, 10:30.
Oh, is it real?
Time for the invalid to go to bed.
10:30. And to think that I'd been going to bed every night at 9 o'clock because I was so bored. Buonanotte, Lucia.
Buonanotte.
10:30.
Buy 500 City Army shares at best.
Good morning, Oldham. And how is poor Mr. Georgie today?
Getting on nicely, thank you, Mum.
I was worried because I saw that all the blinds were down.
Indeed, Mum.
Will you ask him to telephone me as soon as he feels up to it?
Yes, Mum.
Good morning, Godiva. Well, then, what a lovely morning. See, do. Any news?
None that I've heard of.
Unless my Benji boy and I were on our honeymoon en France. Wasn't there some talk of the forthcoming election?
No, dear. The government are there for another 2 years, aren't they?
No, Godiva. Local elections for our very own town council because of Major General Bartlemy Grayson's death.
I don't really know, Mapp. Are we really interested in that sort of thing?
Well, we should be, dear. We should be. After all, Tilling is us. We are Tilling.
Good morning.
Bonjour,
Good
chérie.
morning, dear. Off to see poor Mr. Georgie.
Diver, dear. Yes, I like it immensely. 10 years younger. Turn on. Suits the back of your head. I love it.
There you are, dear. You dropped it.
My dear, thank you so much. It is rather important.
Well, I must be trotting so many commissions to do for my Benji boy.
Now, look here, Mapp.
Just like a man, bless him, off to golf, leaving wifey to do all the jobs.
Now, look here. I've had my hair cut short. Didn't you notice?
Yes, dear, to be perfectly frank, since we are such old friends, I did. But I thought it far kinder to say nothing about it.
Typical. Absolutely typical.
Bonjour, boy of mine. Encore une fois.
This toast is cold.
Well, we can soon get some more.
Quay high!
No, darling, no. We have a bell. Peebo. Ah, what a sleepy face.
And why am I given this enormous teacup every morning?
Because tea is a splendid way to start the day, dearest. It'll keep you on your toes on the links.
You rang, madam?
Yes, with us some fresh toast, please.
Oh, very good, madam.
Nice and hot.
Very good, sir. So sorry. Turn to the City News and see if you can find something called City Army.
The army. Here we are, me. Here we are. Yes, here we are. West African gold mine. Shares moved up strongly yesterday. Have you got any, Liz?
Alas, no. And my war loan?
Warning. Huh? Down half a point. Un demi-point.
That's what you get for being patriotic.
Well, I shall be toddling off to the links.
Not saying for the fresh hot toast, love.
No, thanks.
You'll come straight back, won't you?
Straight back.
After the game.
You mean after the round?
You'll come straight back.
Where else would I be going?
No, of course not. Play beautifully, darling.
Mapp, I expect you've heard the news.
What news?
Hundreds and hundreds of pounds.
Oh, do start at the beginning.
Well, Lucia bought some mining shares only the other day.
Oh, we know that.
And she's made hundreds and hundreds of pounds already. Well, she's in the post office now, telegraphing for some more. I think they're called Syrian Army.
You mean Siriami, n'est-ce pas?
Probably.
Very famous mine in West Africa.
I thought I might send away for some myself. Well, just a few, of course.
I wouldn't if I were you, dear.
Why not? I've got some money lying idle.
I always discourage anyone from gambling who might not have the strength of mind to stop.
I'd back my strength of mind against yours any day. Hello, dear. Been buying some more Siriami?
Yes, I have bought another little parcel of shares. My broker agrees with me that they might go higher.
Divers told me about your stroke of luck.
Oh, no, Elizabeth, dear, not luck.
What else would you call it?
A little inductive reasoning. I shouldn't be surprised if the price of gold doesn't go even higher. Of course, I may be wrong.
I think you must be. I mean, there are always 20 shillings in the pound, aren't there?
Too intricate to explain. Another time, perhaps.
Probably wants to get all the shares herself and be created Dame Lucia Siriami.
Dear, it's all so confusing.
Well, I must get on with my humble marketing instead of buying parcels of gold.
Stamps, please.
10 twopenny stamps. And what's this, Mrs. Plasto?
10 twopenny stamps.
Siriami, is it?
Yes, Siriami. And 2 10penny stamps, please. I mean,
What's this, Mrs. Mackflint? By thin bunkered simians, is it?
300 Siriami.
Siriami.
yes,
Siriami.
yes.
So sorry, dear. So sorry.
Au reservoir.
Framer says this is what you ordered, madam. Shh! Madam? It's a little surprise for Mr. Georgie. I don't want him to know. I'm ever so sorry, madam. From the Framers, what you ordered. Thank you, Grosvenor. Very good, madam.
Siriami, Siriami, Siriami.
Good morning. What a good laddie to be down so early.
Ah, Mrs. Mapp Flint of that ilk.
My financial post. Now, méchant. You know that Lulu has become his great financier. She buys Siriami one day and the next they shoot up.
Really? It's a stroke of luck for her, Liz.
No, dear, you're quite wrong. It's inductive reasoning. How pleasant for her to have all the gifts.
What?
I thought it might be amusing to see just what is happening to Lucia's little gold mine.
Yes, of course.
Ah! Isn't that nice for her? Up 3 shillings. Quite a fortune.
Oh, tremendous.
Diver will be pleased, too.
Oh, why?
Because she bought some yesterday.
Did she? How many?
I couldn't see. Oh, dear. Withers has forgotten Worcester sauce again. No, dear, not quay high. A pull on the bell. Now, what?
What?
What do I spy? Another financial post?
Ah! Yes, well, I just thought...
Oh, darling, make a clean breast of it. Have you been buying cereale?
Well, I had 100 quid lying idle.
Secretive one. Naughty.
Oh! Well... How many have you bought?
I? How many?
Yes, come on, old girl, out with it.
300.
I guessed as much.
Oh, what tremendous fun. We'll make a fortune and won't have to bother about letting Mal out for the summer.
Good morning, Willis.
But how can I go to Mapp's birthday party looking like this?
I do understand, Georgie. But birthday parties can't be shunted about like trains. How is your poor face?
It's terribly sore still. I don't know when I'll be able to shave again.
Don't worry so, Georgino. When you think of the modern quality of the idylls of Theocritus.
What?
I was speaking about it at dinner. Weren't you listening? It is a timeless quality, a senza tempo, in fact, characteristic of all great artists. Van Dyck, particularly. His portraits. Lady Castlemaine, Nell Gwyn.
But surely, Van Dyck was dead by then, wasn't he? I mean, it's Charles I, not Charles II.
Possibly. You may be right.
Yes.
But that's my point. He was timeless. That, print of his, over there, of his Baptista. Marvelous.
Which one?
Rather tucked away, I'm afraid.
Oh, yes. I don't think I've seen that before. Oh, I see. What a striking face. Yes.
It's extraordinary.
Yes, it's very striking.
No, Georgie.
What?
How can you be so blind? Take a good look at it, then look at yourself in the glass.
What?
Georgie, you are Baptista, and it's the beard that's done it.
You said you see what you mean?
And to think you talk of shutting yourself away until your shingles are over and cutting it off, my dear. It would be artistic murder.
Oh, well, you see...
Well?
Well, what's so frightfully tiresome is that my beard is so grey that you might call it white. You know, there's really not a grey hair on my head or in my moustache, yet the stupid things come out this colour. Do you think it's because I'm run down?
Of course it is. As you get stronger, your beard will certainly get its colour back.
Good.
I think it's beginning already.
What am I going to do till then?
Diet, Georgie. Diet. Just till nature takes its course, go to your barber in Hastings and have it dyed.
Oh, I shouldn't quite like to do that.
Then you're being very unreasonable. You admit a beard suits you. You can't stay here forever. So it's Hastings tomorrow, or you will vex povera Lucia very, very much if you shave a vostra bella barba. There.
Diver, dear one, and our good padre. Tea, everybody. Servez-vous, servez-vous. And then afterwards bridge, of course.
Mrs. Lucas, madam.
Oh, my dearest. Bon après-midi.
Elizabeth, happy birthday.
Oh, what a transformation of your lovely room. Such a lot of work you've put into it.
Mrs. Lucas. Great pleasure.
Major Benji, what a picture of health.
Padre, my dear old self.
Major Benji.
Godiva, welcome to our little gathering.
Mr. and Mrs. Wise, madam.
The dear, dear Wisey's. Come in, come in. Of course, you know everybody.
Yes, of course. And felicitations.
Thank you, dear.
Indeed.
Oh,
Now, tell me, Elizabeth, is it true?
Is what true, Susan? Though if you've heard it, it must be.
That the Major is standing for the town council.
Now, who could have told you that?
Oh, that's an easy one. He told me himself at the golf club the other day.
Oh, what a blabbing boy.
Yes, I'd heard something of the sort.
As a man of position, it's only right that he should have a share in municipal affairs.
What would his platform be?
Economy, of course, and the reduction of the rates.
Reduction? Is that wise?
Oh, surely no politics on an occasion such as this.
No, of course not. My dear, dear friends, on this occasion de bonheur...
Mr. Pilson, madam.
Mr. Georgie, you've come.
Yes, but I didn't want to miss it. Many happy returns, Elizabeth.
Welcome back to the land of the living.
And with a beard.
Very becoming, if I may say so.
Too kind, all of you.
Very Van Dyke.
Beaver! Oh, boy, what? Beaver!
Oh, yes, most kind, all of you. I'm afraid that my arrival interrupted you, Elizabeth.
No, nothing important.
Oh, good. It's based on baptism.
I was only going to say that on this occasion of my nativite, after our tea and sandwiches, should we dispose ourselves for a rubber or two, no?
And the steaks?
The usual, surely. A penny a hundred.
Aye, the same as always.
But surely, as we're all doing so well out of our Syria army, a penny a hundred seems, well, mean. What do you think, Lucia?
Seriami has certainly done me proud, but I am beginning to ask myself whether there may not be more chance of capital appreciation, if you follow me.
No, I'm afraid I don't.
Would you explain that, dear?
I have decided to clear out of Seriami and invest elsewhere.
You've what?
Wonderfully absorbing the world of finance, is it not?
Sweet of you to tell us, dear, but my Benji boy and I have also been studying the market, and we've decided to buy more Seriami, haven't we, boykins?
Now, why did I sell? Oh, yes. My broker tells me that no dividends can be expected from Seriami for the next 2 years.
What? Nonsense.
More than 2 years, do you think?
I won't get any dividends for 2 years. Benji boy.
Quite charming to see what matrimony has done for Elizabeth.
In what way?
She obviously dotes on him, fond eyes following his every move.
Particularly when he returned from telephoning.
Quite. Another kind of cup of tea he'd been after. Reeked.
No, I don't believe it.
I'll bet there are whiskey bottles buried all over the garden.
Pure imagination, Diver, dear. Don't you agree, Georgie?
It is not my imagination. And you mark my words, there'll be developments yet.
I hope they'll be very happy.
Yes, well, here's to them anyway.
Well, of course, we all know the Major was apt to lift the elbow occasionally. That's all done with. I think it must be a perfect marriage.
They sleep in the big bedroom overlooking the street. Together.
How do you know that?
Withers told my cook. And there's a dressing room next door. I've seen him shaving at the window myself.
Oh, you haven't.
I have.
But I wonder.
Yes, I wonder too.
Yes. Yes, I wonder too.
Then we all wonder.
It's her ways that I find so hard to bear. Her arrogance.
Agreed. Bless you, girlie.
So, how was City Army this morning?
Down sixpence.
How do you know?
I've already looked. Mind you, Lucia did tell us what she was up to.
My fault then, I suppose.
What?
You think we should have followed her lead and sold our shares?
Said nothing of the sort.
Oh, go and play your golf.
Why?
It'll blow your cobwebs away.
It's pouring with rain. Probably catch pneumonia. You got a bit of a cold, girlie? What's wrong, old girl?
Well, there's a Jolie shows to ask, I must say. You tell me I want you to catch pneumonia and then ask what's wrong.
Oh, now, girlie, no nagging.
No nagging now, is it? I planned to make you so happy, Benji. by giving up my best room to and all sorts of things. And what's my reward? I hope you die in pneumonia.
Well, I didn't mean it literally. Just a touch of sarcasm, perhaps, just as you're sarcastic at times.
Oh, that is a wicked lie. Jamais. I speak firmly, perhaps, on occasion, but always for your good, too, Jean. Never a thought in my head but your true happiness.
Yes. Yes. I know that. I know that, girlie. There. Now. Nothing the matter, is there, old girl? Nothing wrong, is there?
Nothing, dear, that I can tell you yet.
Together again. Hurrah!
Hurrah! Oh, George.
Now, what about some Glazunov?
Of course, nobody would dream of voting for him.
What?
Major Benji, standing for the town council.
Oh, no, probably not.
And to make sure that it couldn't possibly happen, I have decided to stand myself.
What absorbing news. But are you sure?
When I see my duty clearly, I do it. Now, the Major wants the rates reduced.
Oh, so do I. Huh?
You won't if you listen to me.
Well, they are high.
And should be higher.
Higher?
For the sake of the unemployed.
Well, what about us?
I know how demoralizing it is to have no work to do.
Oh, really, Lucia.
I was sinking into lethargy before I embarked on my financial career.
Yes, how's all that going, by the way?
Georgie? Georgie, you see, here, we live in the lap of luxury.
Do we?
What did I serve you for luncheon today?
Delicioso pheasant, why?
Do you know? Georgie, there are people living in dear little Tilling who never eat pheasant from Christmas Day to New Year's Day.
Don't you mean the other way round? No.
The new road, for instance. It will employ a number of men, but not nearly enough. It should be doubled in width. The slums down by the railway, they should be swept away at once. Pigsties. No bathrooms. No indoor conveniences. Sometimes I feel I should give free baths to the poor souls who live there.
Wouldn't Grosvenor leave at once?
Of course, that's why I can't do it. My ticket will be spend, spend, spend. I shall send in my name and set about canvassing. You'll help me, of course.
But I don't want the rates to go any higher.
Georgie, listen to me. Ickle, me and you have been spoiled. We should do ickle more for others.
Well, we shouldn't be doing ickle much for the Mapp flints, for instance, should we? I mean, if the rates went any higher and they couldn't get a thumping good let for mallards next summer, they might have to sell.
In which case, I should naturally be very sorry for them.
Of course you would.
Of course I would.
Thank you, Withers. We wouldn't need a new road if they didn't allow Susan Wise's rolls to block up the high street for as long as she pleases, and then tearing down those pretty little slums near the railway to build new houses. Fearfully expensive. Spoiling the town, taking all its quaintness away.
A trifle damp, maybe.
Well, I had a dreadful patch of damp in my bedroom last year. Did I ask the town council to rebuild mallards at public expense? And I'm told that all those new houses have got a bathroom, in which the tenants will probably keep poultry. Then they say there are the unemployed. Rubbish, Benji. There's plenty of work for everybody, only those lazy fellows prefer the dole and idleness. No, we are expected to pinch and squeeze so that the so-called poor may live in the lap of luxury. If I didn't get a good let for mallards every year, we wouldn't be able to live in it at all. Economy. L'économie, that's the ticket.
By heaven, you've got the gift of the gab, old girl. Right at the tips of your pretty little fingers. You should stand. Not me. You talk to them like that, you'll head the poll.
I?
Of course. Think. I mean, damn it. You are the owner of mallards, not me. The rates should be your concern, not mine. What do you say to that,
Really, dear, I hardly know what to say. Such a new idea to me.
Well, then there's all that house-to-house canvassing. Woman's much more suited than a man. Cups of tea, peck at the baby. Ugh.
Dear me, yes, I begin to see your point of view. Sound as a man's always is. But will my health stand the strain? Mr. Georgie? Oh, that's the person I want to see. It's about the elections for the town council.
Oh, with the major standing. Yes, isn't it exciting?
Well, a small range of news comes in here.
Thank you, Georgie. Elizabeth, dear.
Bonjour, chérie. Mr. Georgie and I were just discussing the elections forthcoming.
Of course, I suppose he hasn't had a chance to tell you that I am entering the fray.
Nor have I had the chance to say that I shall be taking over my Benji boy's mantle and standing in his stead.
No, neither of those.
You see, I feel it is my duty, as I take quite the opposite line. Go round again, Cadman. Those slums must be swept away.
And?
New houses built tutu presto.
Vandalism, dear. I shall go to work tutu sweet. Mr. Georgie, do I have the promise of your support?
For Jerusalem archers.
For Jerusalem chokes, Mr. Twistivant.
And then we must both convert dear Lucia.
4 chokes.
You certainly won't succeed.
Is it true, Mapp? Have you trumped the Major?
I am taking his place as a candidate, if that's what you mean, yes.
£4 of King Edward.
Taken a wee interest in municipal affairs. Good, good, begorra.
£4 Ted Spuds.
Cost what it may, no more slums, no more unemployment in beloved Tilling.
£4 Ted Spuds.
And Georgie agrees with me.
Dear Monsieur Georgie, it will be the ruin of us all, tout le monde.
You mean the two of you are standing on opposite sides?
Certainly looks like that.
2 bunches of asparagus. And 1 of cress.
What a scream.
Dear Lucia, as a comparatively new resident of Tilling, you cannot be expected to know much about municipal spending.
2 asparagus and 1 of cress.
I shall be only too happy to show you how the rates have been mounting over the years.
I want them to soar.
2 asparagus and a cress.
Naughty and reckless of you, Lulu.
We must shoulder the burden, dear one.
That's the ticket. Street corner meetings, up with the poor, down with the rich.
Oh, come, Miss Coles. The poor are always with
Don't
us.
I know it?
Quite a coincidence, isn't it? As soon as you heard my Benji boy was standing, you decided to stand yourself.
Dear Elizabeth, how can you be so silly?
Did you say silly, dear?
A saddle of venison.
Yes, dear. That is exactly what I said.
Well hung.
Because you or the Major standing had no influence on my decision.
Up and at 'em, beloved.
But whose side am I on?
Mr. Worthington, a saddle of venison, well hung.
Saddle of venison.
Well hung.
Let me add that I regard you and the Major with the utmost cordiality, and should you be elected, which I hope and trust you will not be, I shall be the first to congratulate you.
Such niceties are beyond me, I'm afraid. Au revoir, mes amis. I must get on with my canvassing.
Saddle of venison. Ready and willing.
Winner take all.
Mr. Twisty-Van, are these the farmer's tomatoes you have?
Padre, how many candidates are there standing?
6, I believe. A good cross-section of the tune.
Surely it must be Mapp. Or Lucia.
I think you'll agree, Susan, that the rates are far too high. And Mr. Wise, too.
Excuse me, madam. Mrs. Lucas would like a word with you.
Susan.
Lulu, fancy.
Elizabeth? What
Do sit down.
Diver, Mia. Just to ask you to dine with me tomorrow.
I'll look in presently, Diver Sweet, just off to see the Padre.
And have you 2 minutes to spare now?
Of course.
Through here, dear.
May I telephone the Padre, dearest? I want to get him two for dinner tomorrow night.
Delighted to dine with you.
Thanks. I'll give you a penny in a minute.
But I feel I must warn you.
Tilling, 2, 3, please. Warn me, yes?
I'm not going to vote for you.
My dear, if only you saw the state of those slums.
I simply can't afford to pay higher rates.
Hello, is that you, Padre? I hope you can dine with me tomorrow. Oh, capital. May I pop in for a minute presently?
A minute a while, because Mistress Mapp Flint is with me.
With you now, is she?
Aye.
Then, will you ring me at Mrs. Plastow's when she is gone?
Well, big up.
Thank you, Padre.
I shall vote for Elizabeth.
Diver, dear, didn't you make a fortune over my tip about Siriami?
A fortune? A few shillings, more like. Oh, let's talk about something else.
What else is there? The election is the day after tomorrow.
Have you noticed any change in Elizabeth lately?
I don't think so. A shade more acid, perhaps?
And?
I had thought that matrimony might have improved her, but...
Yes.
Diver, dear, what are you driving at?
Yes, go on.
Oh, no. Not that. Quite impossible.
I don't see why. Well, the other evening, for instance, I was talking about how attractive Twilight was, and she asked me what Twilight's sleep was.
A coincidence.
And she talked about such pretty dolls in the toy shop.
You're jumping to conclusions, dear.
Well, I shall keep an open mind about it.
That'll be the Padre. Will you tell him I'm on my way?
Bring out
Three cheers for Mrs. Lucas, the friend of the poor! And 3 groans for the foe of the poor!
Leave it to me, girlie.
The enemy in force! Run, children,
Elizabeth, I'm just popping across to assure you I knew nothing of what we have just seen until I saw it.
I think I understand. You didn't see that pretty show until you saw it. Quite. I take your word for it.
I very much regret it.
I don't regret it at all. People who demean themselves to perpetrate gross outrages only hurt themselves. For me, they do not exist. Ils n'existent pas pour moi.
I quite agree. Sono niente. Come along, you two. We're due back in half an hour.
What's on the menu?
Lobster a la risotto.
And a bottle of beer for Mr. Catman.
Ah, 3 cheers for the friend of the poor.
Oh, it'll be a long time before Elizabeth gets over that, I can tell you. Quaint Irene won't be invited to Mallard's again in a hurry.
Oh, I doubt if she'd go if she was. It's obvious whose side she's on.
Mr. Pilson says it's like the feuds between the Montagues and the Capulets.
Who?
They were always fighting each other.
Oh? Which side won?
The only thing is, I don't know which side Mr. Pilson's on. He might not even vote for Mrs. Lucas.
If Mrs. Lucas tells him to, he will.
Yes, but I mean, nobody wants the rates to go up. And Mr. Pilson
Doris.
isn't... Yes, Harold?
Eat your sandwich.
Oh, you.
Anyway, I'm taking bets on Mrs. Mapp Flint. Any offers?
Mr. Catman, that's disloyal.
Well, you might be right, you know. Elizabeth doesn't think Lucia stands a chance.
Well, that's exactly what Lucia thinks about her.
Well, she could be wrong, couldn't she? Here, do you know, every evening when they come back from canvassing, Elizabeth and Benji split a bottle of champagne. And she drinks as much as he does.
That'll upset him.
Well, Lucia doesn't need to take to drink. The only thing that worries her is if she's topping Elizabeth's bottom, Elizabeth will be more of a pain in the neck than ever. That and her feet after all that tramping round town.
Here. Isn't the Major supposed to be helping with the canvassing?
Yes, why? Well, that's the first time he's been let off the hook.
What did I tell you? Overconfident?
What are you smiling at, Harold?
I was just thinking, since none of it makes a bit of difference to us, why don't we have another barrel?
Oh, now don't you two be long.
Mrs. Brooke Cummings, Conservative, 251 votes. Harold Christopher, Liberal, 201 votes. Adrian Manningham, Labour, 150 votes. Mrs. Emmeline Lucas, Independent, 39 votes. Mrs. Elizabeth Mapp Flint, also 39 votes. So, Mrs. Brooke Cummings is the elected choice. God save the King.
God save the King.
Well, never mind.
Your day will come.
Really? Splendid piece of traditional pageantry. Most interesting. Quite medieval. I wouldn't have missed it for the world. And that noble story of Disraeli's first speech in the House of Commons.
Oh, Diva. There'll be no dancing in the streets tonight.
Hard cheese, old girl.
Mrs. Brooke Cummings will put up the rates as well.
There.
Where? We may have to sell Mallards.